Welcome to the episode of The History of God. Today, we will explore a fascinating and profound topic, the beliefs about heaven and hell. These concepts are central to many religions and cultures around the world. We will dive into the different interpretations and meanings of these mystical places. Heaven and hell are ideas that transcend time and geography, appearing in diverse forms in different religious and cultural traditions. They represent not only afterlife destinations, but also reflect values, ethics, and the human quest for meaning. Throughout this episode, we will explore how different religions and cultures conceive of heaven and hell, their historical origins, and their philosophical implications. Prepare yourself for a journey through time and space as we unravel the mysteries of these enigmatic places. Let us begin our journey with Christianity, one of the most influential religions in the Western world. Heaven and hell are central concepts in Christian theology, and their descriptions vary widely among different denominations and biblical interpretations. But before delving into specifics, let us understand the historical and cultural context that shaped these beliefs. Christianity emerged within the context of the Roman Empire, a time of great religious and philosophical diversity. The ideas of heaven and hell did not arise in a vacuum. They were influenced by Jewish, Greek, and Roman traditions. Heaven is often seen as a place of peace, happiness, and eternity. In Christian traditions, heaven is the kingdom of God, where the faithful go after death to live in eternal communion with the Creator. In the Bible, heaven is described as a place of light and love where there is no pain or suffering. The Christian vision of heaven is deeply influenced by the Scriptures. In the New Testament, Jesus speaks of the kingdom of heaven as a place of justice and love, where the righteous will be rewarded. The image of heaven as a celestial paradise is reinforced by passages such as those in Revelation describing a New Jerusalem descending from heaven adorned like a bride for her husband. Beyond biblical descriptions, Christian art and literature over the centuries have represented heaven in various ways. Renaissance paintings like those by Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel depict heaven as a place of beauty and harmony, where angels and saints live in eternal peace. Christian theology also explores the nature of heaven in terms of communion with God. For many Christians, heaven is not merely a physical place, but a state of being, where the soul is in perfect union with the divine. This spiritual vision of heaven emphasizes the importance of faith and virtue in earthly life. However, the vision of heaven varies among different Christian denominations. For Catholics, heaven is a place of eternal beatitude, where saints intercede for the living. For Protestants, the emphasis is on God's grace and salvation through faith. These differences reflect the rich diversity of Christian tradition and its multiple interpretations of heaven. On the other hand, hell is generally associated with a place of torment and eternal suffering. In Christianity, hell is seen as the final destination of souls that reject God and His grace. It is a place of unquenchable fire and darkness where sinners are punished for their transgressions. The Christian vision of hell is strongly influenced by the biblical scriptures. In the New Testament, Jesus speaks of hell as a place of eternal fire and outer darkness. The image of hell as a place of torment is reinforced by passages such as those in Revelation, which describe a lake of fire into which the wicked are cast. Throughout history, Christian art and literature have represented hell in various ways. Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy is one of the most famous works detailing hell. Vividly, Dante portrays hell as a place of 9 circles each, corresponding to different types of sins and punishments. Christian theology also explores the nature of hell in terms of separation from God. For many Christians, hell is not just a place of physical punishment, but a state of spiritual alienation, where the soul is eternally separated from the divine presence. This spiritual vision of hell emphasizes the importance of faith and virtue in earthly life. However, the vision of hell varies among different Christian denominations. For Catholics, hell is a place of eternal punishment for mortal sins. For Protestants, the emphasis is on God's grace and salvation. Through faith, these differences reflect the rich diversity of Christian tradition and its multiple interpretations of hell. But heaven and hell are not concepts exclusive to Christianity. In Islam, heaven is called Jannah, a paradisiacal garden where the faithful enjoy eternal pleasures. Hell or Jahannam is a place of fire and torment for sinners. The Islamic vision of heaven and hell is deeply influenced by the Quran, the sacred book of Muslims. The Quran describes Jannah as a place of gardens, rivers, and eternal pleasures where the faithful live in peace and happiness. Jahannam, on the other hand, is described as a place of fire and torment where sinners are punished for their deeds. Throughout history, Islamic art and literature have depicted heaven and hell in various ways. Paintings and manuscripts often portray Jannah as a paradisiacal garden, while Jahannam is represented as a place of fire and suffering. Islamic theology also explores the nature of heaven and hell in terms of divine justice. For many Muslims, heaven and hell are places of reward and punishment, respectively based on the actions and intentions of individuals during their earthly lives. This vision emphasizes the importance of faith, virtue, and justice in life. However, the vision of heaven and hell varies among different traditions and schools of thought within Islam. For Sunnis, the emphasis is on obedience to the teachings of the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad. For Shias, the emphasis is on the lineage of the Imams and social justice. These differences reflect the rich diversity of Islamic tradition and its multiple interpretations of heaven and hell. In Buddhism, the concept of heaven and hell is more complex. There are multiple celestial and infernal realms, but all are temporary. The ultimate goal is to attain nirvana, a state of enlightenment and liberation from the cycle of rebirth. In Hinduism, heaven and hell are seen as temporary states of reward or punishment, depending on the karma accumulated during life. The Buddhist view of heaven and hell is deeply influenced by the teachings of Buddha. In Buddhism, heaven and hell are seen as temporary mental states resulting from karma accumulated during life. The ultimate goal is to reach nirvana, a state of enlightenment and liberation from the cycle of rebirth. Throughout history, Buddhist art and literature have represented heaven and hell in various ways. Mandalas and Buddhist paintings often depict celestial and infernal realms as temporary mental states, while nirvana is represented as a state of peace and illumination. Buddhist theology also explores the nature of heaven and hell in terms of karma and rebirth. For many Buddhists, heaven and hell are places of reward and punishment, respectively based on the actions and intentions of individuals during their earthly lives. This vision emphasizes the importance of virtue, wisdom, and compassion in earthly life. However, the vision of heaven and hell varies among different traditions and schools of thought. Within Buddhism, for Theravada, the emphasis is on individual practice and the pursuit of nirvana. For Mahayana, the emphasis is on compassion and the enlightenment of all beings. These differences reflect the rich diversity of Buddhist tradition and its multiple interpretations of heaven and hell. Ancient mythologies also have their own visions of heaven and hell. In Greek mythology, Elysium is the paradise for heroes and virtuous people, while Tartarus is a place of eternal punishment. In ancient Egypt, Aru is the paradise for the righteous, while Duat is the underworld where souls are judged. The Greek view of heaven and hell is deeply influenced by the myths and legends of ancient Greece. Elysium is described as a place of green fields and eternal peace, where heroes and virtuous people live in happiness. Tartarus, on the other hand, is a place of eternal punishment for titans and other mythical beings who defied the gods. Throughout history, Greek art and literature have represented heaven and hell. In various ways, Greek paintings and sculptures often depict Elysium as a place of beauty and harmony, while Tartarus is represented as a place of suffering and torment. Egyptian mythology also offers a rich and complex vision of heaven and hell. Aru is described as a field of reeds where the righteous live in peace and happiness. Duat, on the other hand, is the underworld where souls are judged by the god Osiris. Those deemed righteous are admitted into Aru, while the wicked are condemned to various forms of punishment. However, the vision of heaven and hell varies across different cultures and mythological traditions. For the Norse, Valhalla is the paradise of warriors, while hell is the realm of the dead. For the Mayans, Xibalba is the underworld where souls are judged. These differences reflect the rich diversity of mythological traditions and their multiple interpretations of heaven and hell. The philosophical vision of heaven and hell is deeply influenced by the thoughts of great philosophers. Throughout history, Plato, for instance, viewed heaven as a realm of ideas where the soul could achieve true wisdom and virtue. Hell, on the other hand, was seen as a state of ignorance and illusion. Throughout history, Western and Eastern philosophy have explored heaven and hell in diverse ways. Philosophers like Aristotle, St. Augustine, and Immanuel Kant have reflected on the nature of heaven and hell in terms of ethics, morality, and human existence. Eastern philosophy also provides a rich and complex view of heaven and hell. In Taoism, for example, heaven and hell are seen as states of harmony and disharmony with the Tao, the natural path of the universe. In Confucianism, heaven is viewed as a state of virtue and justice, while hell is a state of disorder and chaos. However, the vision of heaven and hell varies among different philosophical traditions. For existentialists, heaven and hell are states of being that reflect the freedom and responsibility of the individual. For humanists, heaven and hell are metaphors for the human quest for meaning and purpose. These differences reflect the rich diversity of philosophical tradition and its multiple interpretations of heaven and hell. Beliefs about heaven and hell vary widely across cultures and religions, but all share a common theme: the search for meaning and purpose beyond earthly life. Whatever your belief, these concepts remind us of the importance of living a virtuous life and seeking inner peace. Throughout this episode, we explored how different religious and cultural traditions conceive of heaven and hell, their historical origins, and their philosophical implications. We hope this journey has been enlightening and inspiring for you. Thank you for watching this episode of The History of God. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating content on religion, mythology, and spirituality. Check out other videos on the channel to better understand our ideas. See you next time.